you know, he did a little smurfing for a serious amount of time, doing silly strategies, but in that he's sort of been able to make those strategies work at the higher level, and even something like this. And our players are ready indeed. They are putting the good lucks in the chat, etc. And we will get this game started up just shortly. Dragon versus desRow on Vonnie Research Station. And here we go.
Team Gravity presents Fight Night!
Y'all ready for this?
All right, we have here spawning in the north area of the map, the blue Terran. You know him and love him. He's Dragon.
Spawning on the bottom center, we have desRow from Team desRow.
Team desRow currently is looking for new members. The requirements, though, are quite strict. You must be desRow, or else you are not allowed in. So it's quite difficult to get in. But I'm sure that there's someone out there who's also desRow, who can manage to make it onto Team desRow. Interesting first depot placement here from Dragon, off in the corner, keeping it nice and safe and sound in the back recesses of the map, so that he will never be harassed.
I wonder what the benefit of that is than just putting it 1 pixel south or a couple pixels south.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. Sort of. So building placement in TVP and early TVP is like, as the Protoss player, you're kind of worried about the Reaper coming in. You want to sort of cut off the Reaper's ability to run around infinitely,
Right.
and do damage to your base. But on the other side of things, there's not all that much early stuff that's going to come in to deal with. A lot of times we see Terran players not go, not opt for the wall in at the ramp like they would in the TVZ, just because the much earlier ranged units and stronger attacks that can come in from the Protoss and just sort of abuse that, deal lots of damage to the wall, and then the wall becomes more of a detriment to your base than an advantage.
Absolutely.
So,
Lose no supply depots, getting supply blocked.
which nobody likes. Nobody likes. Not even Terrans like supply blocks. Believe it or not believe it. But yeah, so far, we got a potential double gas expand here for desRow. It's unlikely he's going to one base it. He is going for the 2 and 2 option. And yeah, we'll have to see exactly how that works out. We do have already the expansion down for Dragon, so he is staying within the normal confines of StarCraft by getting expansion. But we don't know here. He's going for a Stalker and a Mothership Core before any expansion, so he's going to be able to deny scouting to some extent.
You know, I try and off race here and there, and I really only off race Protoss, rarely Terran. I'm not good at Terran, but this is definitely my preferred choice of opener as a Protoss versus Terran, as well as get that fast Mothership Core, get that fast Stalker, no shenanigans allowed.
Yep, absolutely. And the advantage too is by denying that scouting early on, Dragon has to account for, okay, he could be going for some kind of a early Oracle shenanigans. He could be, going for an early attack on one base. As unlikely as that is, it's always possible. And throwing this pylon up at the top area sort of gives a nod to, hey, I could put a Stargate here and mess you up, so you should be careful. We do have this quick bio follow-up here, already moving swiftly up to 3 barracks, and no tech just yet. A little bit of scouting in from the Mothership Core. Going to be careful, stay back from those Mariners. And we do have, like you said, the normal expansion. Nothing too fancy going on yet. desRow beginning to bank up a bunch of gas, so he's going to have to figure out...
There's an SCV in his base still, so that could be delaying desRow's tech. desRow doesn't know where to build his tech because of that SCV.
Absolutely. StarCraft, in a game of imperfect information, you want to avoid your opponent getting any of the information of what you're doing. And this moment, like you said, very critical. Once that Cybernetics core is down and the expansion is down, that's when it's time to decide. Are you going Robo? Are you going Twilight or Stargate? And Robo is the choice here from desRow. Generally speaking, Robo is that sort of safe play, right? So that, like, okay, I can get a Detector, I can get Colossus, I can get Immortals if I need them, I can deal with pretty much anything. It's this middle of the road, you know, Robo. I'm not committing to some kind of blink all in, I'm not committing to Stargate aggression with an Oracle or anything like that. And we have 2 probes going out on the map. He's going to be able to get a pylon down on either side of the map if that's something he wants to do. Very minimally, he gets the scout off on the base count of his opponent, which is always very important. One of those critical things that you need to know for anything else. Sure, knowing the tech is good, but if you don't know the number of bases your opponent is on, there's not really much context for what is going to happen next.
Absolutely. And we're seeing desRow kind of position his stalkers and his observer getting ready for that potential Widow Mine. I know that anytime I play Protoss in Heart of the Swarm, I fear those Widow Mine drops. They're so traumatic if you don't go straight into Robo. So I think that definitely has, you know, the Natural's already vulnerable enough on this map, and I think he went Robo because he's got to worry about that right now.
Absolutely. And we do have that safe positioning here from Dragon, making sure he's got his Marines in the mineral line just in case of Oracles. He hasn't been able to scout the tech of desRow yet. So because of that, he's going to have to be a little bit on the back foot here. He does get a pretty late starport and factory, opting instead for these 2 quick barracks, and that's going to allow him to mass a large force. He'll have stim relatively early, could make a push for the base, but because of the sort of architecture of this map with the back door, really the point of vulnerability for each of these players is going to be when they decide to take that 3rd base.
Yeah, we're seeing just a massive army out of Dragon right here. He's just been pumping for a while, and I'm curious, you know, desRow saw this, and he's still committing to the double forge. I wonder if some kind of +1 stim double medevac timing is going to hit, and hopefully desRow can hold.
Yeah, he's got a very small army here, also getting supply blocked just a bit. Not in the harshest sense of the word, but in that his Colossus here gets slowed down, which is unfortunate, of course. And he's keeping this eye out over here. He's keeping this observer out over here because he's going to have to take some evasive maneuvers if this army decides to move out.
I think desRow has been watching some Pro League because he built 4 observers, and that's something that some of these Korean pro gamers have recently kind of picked up on in PvT, is how crucial it is to always know where these drops are coming from. You can miss like a single drop, it could be a double drop, but a single, you know, spot on the map without an observer, and it can cost you the game. So
absolutely, information so critical, and this is kind of, I think, what allows him to go for that double forge so quickly. He's got the information, he knows the army isn't moving out, and he knows he's got vision on pretty much all the areas and attack paths of the map. So that allows him to get these upgrades a little bit sooner than his opponent, who only has the +1. He's going to have an upgrade advantage relatively soon. He's going to be able to go right into the +2/+2. Banking up a lot of resources, though. Maybe considering taking that 3rd base. He is dropping down more gateways, so you know, maybe waiting around to see, well, you know, what exactly is my course of action here? Is this going to be a large attack from Dragon? Can I afford to throw down a 3rd base? More barracks, even more. He's got 2 starports making double Vikings at a time. This is a really long period. This is both players just sort of powering up on 2 bases for a long time here.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like Dragon is committing. This is it. And it's really unfortunate that he's this supply blocked, because we see 4 Vikings not being built that he desperately wants.
Yep, having to build those 3 supply depots at one time to unblock himself there. desRow knows that it's coming. He's beginning to warp in units, but will it be enough? He's going to have 3 Colossus, but There's a pretty good number of Vikings here. Generally, you want a 3-to-1 ratio, but and he doesn't quite have that. But with some good control, he should be able to deal with it. And wow, all right, he's doing this blink, doing this little bit of, all right, I'm gonna ride out to meet you, and just sort of go over there, see if he can get some damage done. See if he can buy himself some time. Dragon kind of just pushing forward here. I don't know what he's waiting for just yet. He's gonna do a scan.
Might be waiting for those 4 more Vikings.
Yeah, getting in the right
Such a
position.
scary army. I mean,
Absolutely.
if he loses those Colossus, he does not have a ground army that can contend against Dragon's force. So
yeah, a lot of this is gonna be about positioning.
Stop the Vikings. Yeah, if he can blink and snipe Vikings, that's the only thing that I can see.
The observers are paying off so much right now. He knows the exact army movements of his opponent. Any sort of doom drop or crazy play is going to be dealt with here.
Storm's
like you said.
almost done.
Yeah.
That could be a saving grace.
It might
He's got
be...
1 Templar.
Yeah.
He's banking it all on this 1 storm.
The greatest storm ever to storm. The desert. And it comes in there and does what it needs to do. And these observers still moving around. He's actually putting a proxy pylon out on the map right now. +2 attack and defense coming in. That's going to be really useful. This is nuts. He's going for this 3rd base here. He knows there's a giant army out there, and he's going for this 3rd base. He's not really in position to defend it. Storm is up. He's got 3-ish storms ready. Yeah, looks like he's got 3 storms available if he needs them. And he will most certainly need them in this engagement. He's going to move out no ghosts from his opponent. This might be useful. Let's see. Let's take a look at these storms. Ooh, nice storm, but pulled back pretty quickly there. The Colossus are dropping quickly, but isn't enough. A lot of this bio in the back not dealing any damage here. This might be what desRow needs to be able to survive, but the sheer numbers of units from Dragon is absolutely brutal. Only 1 storm remains. This has to be the greatest storm ever to storm. Let's see exactly how it lands. Oh, that's a really nice storm, getting a lot of damage here. Also pushing back. The Zealots dealing damage on the left side. In the meantime, he really could use units right now. He just needs some stuff. The lack of stuff from desRow and the presence of massive amounts of money in the bank is hurting him intensely. Warping in more Zealots here. Will it be enough? The Zealots do a lot of this army is bruised up. We do have more reinforcements coming in from Dragon, and this is looking bleak. This 3rd is going to get killed in its face. The worst possible place to get killed, as you all well know. And desRow is looking in gigantic trouble. I don't know. How do I exaggerate it more?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to come back from this. I was really scared of him running down that ramp. I think he just had to sack it and get a couple more Templars out, because if he could have stormed. Dragon engaged that fight saying, hey, I'll sack all my Vikings if it means I kill all your Colossus. And I think if desRow just had a couple more storms, he would have felt like he could storm the Vikings and still have backup storms for the army. And if he could storm the Vikings, he could have actually killed them and maybe actually kept one of his Colossus alive.
Ooh, Miss Blinks tries to deal with that Widow Mine. And then the Telltale Observer there. Now, really important thing that our Observer has noted is the 3rd base is already up and running for Dragon. And we even have a 4th base on the way as well. So really, really difficult to deal with here. He's going to move out, but this is a giant flank. This is a giant arc here from Dragon. It's going to be incredibly difficult to deal with. The Colossus managing to get only a few shots in before they are destroyed into small pieces by the Vikings, and the rest of the bio doing its work. There are no storms left. Wow, just barely getting the 75 energy there to drop those last couple of storms. But that's it. GG. Dragon with the first victory goes up 1-0 against desRow.
Yeah, that's scary Terran play. He never took an expansion for a considerable amount of time, and as a Protoss, you're almost relying on him not having that large of a ground force, because if your Colossus die, there's nothing that can beat that. And so it really felt like desRow couldn't take a 3rd base for so long because of that, and then now he's stuck on 2 base for as long as Dragon's stuck on 2 base, and you know how much they need that gas. So trying to get Colossus and Storms just off 2 base, something gave and something had to give.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and especially if he maybe had tried to get the third base down a little bit earlier before Dragon was ready to move out. But when he took the third base, there was already a giant army at his doorstep hanging around waiting for, the moment to strike. And that was pretty much, oh, I'm taking a third base. I guess I'll attack here.
Yeah,
And
I could.
that is in some way, about the architecture of the map, making that, that third base so much more vulnerable than the
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that because the photon overcharge is powerful. So if you can
Mm.
actually get the Nexus up, it's even more fortified. Maybe if desRow went a warp prism, eked out a warp prism instead of 4 observers, maybe went 3 and then was able to get a warp prism out, and it could have bought him enough time distracting and the natural, and then his third might have gotten up, and once it came up, the photon overcharge, then it's worth defending. But trying to defend a half built Nexus going down a funneled ramp like that, it was unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. desRow tilting super hard right now. Not feeling too good about that last game. And
Was he complaining in chat?
oh yes he was. Oh yes he was. But on Expedition Lost, spawning in the north, it is the victor of that last game. We've got Dragon.
In the bottom left-hand corner, we've got the salty Protoss player, desRow.
Long time ago in the ancient biblical times, there was Lot's wife, and she turned around and saw the Sodomites and being burned by God, and she turned into a pillar of salt. That story, not actually about Lot's wife, but indeed about desRow turning into a pillar of salt as he watched all of his Colossus get shredded into small pieces by those Vikings. Absolutely brutal and difficult to deal with. And we'll just have to see if he can, pull something out of his hat. But, as you well know, being a competitive gamer, putting your heart and soul into the game, when you suffer those intense losses, it's very difficult to deal with that, that emotional swing that comes with loss.
Absolutely. And, Pro League was on last night, and I
Mm.
was watching Life versus Terminator in the wee hours of the night last night, and what impressed me most about Life was that Terminator did a build that just spanked Life one game, and I think it was the game 4 that made it. Hopefully this isn't too much of a spoiler, but it was tied 2-2, and so. And then they showed Life in the booth, and he just pulled back, relaxed, pulled back, started laughing, having a chat with his friend, and if that was me, I would have been a little bit on tilt, thinking mentally about it. It would have kind of ruined, but Life just eliminated it from his mind the second the game ended, and that just I think just comes with raw practice and also of course a little bit of Life's fortitude and skill, of course.
Absolutely. It's just one of those often neglected things to talk about. That one of the skills, it is a skill, you have to practice it and improve at it, is having that bulletproof mentality, is being able to, cast aside those games. So, okay, that game was lost. This is a new game. I have just as much chance to win this game as I did last game. I'm just as good as I was before. There's no need to, address those mistakes right now, unless you're going to make some sort of constructive move out of that last loss. You just have to put it behind you and move on. And like I said, much easier said than done. It takes a lot of practice. It is a skill to develop. We do have a sneaky little probe hanging out on the map right now.
I hope that we're seeing a different build out of desRow, one gas and then Expo, but we haven't seen Warp Gate yet. I really hope this is intentional, because that's always a major tilt sign that you forget Warp Gate.
I don't think he spent any gas on. Oh no, the mothership core. So he's just getting his extra gas now. If he does get the warp gate, it is. only a little bit late. He's going for the Stalker first, so this could just be a delayed Warp Gate. Yeah, there we go. He does get it sort of in time. First 100 gas, just choosing that order. It's almost always, right? It's almost always a Stalker, your Warp Gate upgrade, and the Mothership Core. And, choosing that order is a little stylistic thing that each Protoss does a little bit differently.
Did
desRow just choosing to get that last.
I think he got the Robo before the Warp Gate as well, though, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
So
Never mind that. Let me amend
delayed.
that. That is a serious delay. That is definitely abnormal. May have been forgotten it, but I always like to give the benefit of the doubt to the player whenever I can. In this case,
It
we'll
very
say.
well may be intentional. Maybe having that fast of Robo and Observer is that important to him. He feels like something's gonna fishy be going on, but Dragon seems to be doing the same thing. A 3 racks opener, just getting a large number of Marines out, keeping both mineral lines safe against potential Oracle play, and just going to be scaring desRow later on in the mid game with a substantial force.
Oh, the scan just barely missing the robotics bay. This is the sort of abnormal play here from desRow, getting this super fast robotics bay. He's going to be able to build Colossus really quickly, or get Warp Prism speed, but probably build Colossus really quickly. You always have to watch out for that kind of thing, and he is going to have that 200 gas that he needs to start that first Colossus right away. Really well timed out. This is definitely very much planned build here. Getting exactly everything that he needs, getting all the mineral resources at the same time. Probably one of my favorite things when playing StarCraft is when all those things line up.
Absolutely. I think, last game when we saw Dragon play, he didn't start Viking production until he had both starports done, both reactors on the starports, and then he started pumping out tons of Vikings. I wonder if desRow feels like there's a 2-base Colossus push timing window here where Dragon has 30 plus Marines but no Vikings yet, and he could just push and win. So I think that's what desRow's thinking right now.
Yeah, well, when you go for that 3 barracks play and you're used to going to that 3 barracks play, your starports are delayed as a result. So that means your Vikings are delayed as well, and he's going to go ahead and scout this. And I think he's going to be pretty happy. He's going to be able to have this thermal lance and 2 Colossus down all at the same time. He's going to start sending out his probe over to the north. He actually even has a probe in the south. I love this, by the way, this sort of double probe action on the map, because you never really know where you're going to want to warp in, the left side or the right side. Having those options sort of always makes it available. Like, all right, I'm going to put 2 pylons down this game. Like, okay, I'm going to put 1 pylon down this game. It allows you that sort of flexibility of play. And desRow going to go ahead, scout. There's no base over here, and throw down the proxy pylon as his forces get lined up here. A 3rd Colossus on the way, and he begins to move across the map. This is going to be a bit tricky.
Do it, desRow. I have faith.
In desRow, we believe. He's going ahead. We have 2 medevacs so far. The question is he going to queue up 2 more medevacs, or is he going to go into his Viking production right now? Taking a look at the supply, he is a bit supply blocked for the time being. Actually, this seems like a planned supply block. He gets supply blocked just before he can build his Vikings.
So desRow, right before he showed his Colossus at that watchtower, pulled it back and made sure 1 Zealot cleared the watchtower, because he wants to make sure Dragon has no knowledge of this push coming. And, with only 2 Vikings not even out.
Oh, this is going to be brutal. Oh my god, he's going to try to use the factory here to absorb some hits, but that many Marines are just going to melt these Colossus. It's going to be a force field coming down already. Nice preemptive force field there. Lots of damage getting dealt. He has to protect these Colossus. Excellent spell casting from desRow here. He's going to keep going back with his entire army there and trying to keep his army alive and deal that splash damage when he can. That first Colossus, though, taking some hits. Going to get, oh no, taken out already.
Colossus.
And the 3rd Colossus as well, a little bit out of position, but he's going to keep it alive. And this massive force is going to win him the game. desRow takes the fight back to Dragon, making it 1-1.
Stellar play by desRow. It was great. So good to see. It was, after that game 1, for him to be able to pull back and say, this is how Dragon's playing. If he's going to try that shit again, I'll do this, and I'll beat him. And it worked out. It was exactly how desRow, I'm sure, planned it in his head. So it's good to see. He knows how how to switch up his play. He knows how to punish Dragon's play after realizing how he's intending on using his composition.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite things about casting best ofs and watching and playing in best ofs. It's much more fun to have this. Okay, you've played this way. I'm going to learn from the way you play. I'm going to make this adjustment. I'm going to use this particular build, and it's it's just a lot of fun. And we'll see now. Is Dragon going to continue going with this quick 3 racks play, or is he going to try and make some adjustments here? We'll see. I mean, I think in Dragon's shoes, right? I think the first gut instinct is he's not going to do it again, right? Like there's no way he's going to do it again. But then, that's always that like, well, he just might. So you never really know. desRow calling for the quick go in chat. And we will be starting quite soon here. Loading up. Our next map is Echo. And 1 versus 1 map, another potential for a little bit of all-inning from either player here.
Yeah, exciting game 3 going in 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. We are down to best of 3 here, so it's all on the line. Could go either way very easily. desRow having the Marine portrait despite being a Protoss. Very deceptive. And we now spawn in the top left-hand corner of our screen. He all-in last game to great effect. Will he do it again this game? It's desRow.
In the bottom right-hand corner in the red trunks, we have Dragon.
Now, I'm kind of curious. What does desRow mean? I know what dragon means. Dragon is a mythical creature that kills stuff and is awesome. But what is a desRow? Other than desRow.
Has anybody even asked him that question before?
I don't know. Next time that I have him in a chat, I'm 100% going to ask him. Just the next time that I inevitably cast a game that desRow is playing, and I get to shoot out that little bit of trivia. But yeah, desRow. Gonna be very unsure as what that means, but in any case, see the builds lining out here.
We were talking about the supply depot placement in Vani in game 1, and I think I kind of figured it out. I think it's really just organization, because this map doesn't have a perfect horizontal back location. This back location's kind of got a circular organization to it, and so he's putting that supply depot in a location where now he can put another one just to the east of it, while on Vani, when he put that supply depot down, you kind of saw him build an entire horizontal line. And so it seems like Dragon is really just meticulous about his organization of his buildings, and I think you have to be as Terran, otherwise you don't want to run out of room.
Yeah, right. And you don't have any flexibility on where those add-ons go. You have to be, pretty careful. That's like one of my favorite things about watching fantasy play, is he just has this all the time, this very like meticulous Brood War like building place, and they all just like, you go to his base and it's like the perfect, he's like a civil engineer and everything. All the roads lead to Rome and all of that kind of thing, all perfectly lining up there. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff with building placement. I'm not sure that all people enjoy it quite as much as I do, but I've definitely spent hours in a game with no opponent just messing with building placement because it's so much fun. In the same way, we have desRow here doing the anti-Reaper building placement up here in the north with the Cybernetics Core scouting coming in here from Dragon, and in the bottom area we have the faster expansion from Dragon here.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until you can't build that reactor or tech lab.
Speaking of which, I think just barely, look at that perfect placement of the buildings there. Going into a factory. This is a little bit different. He hasn't been doing this, but unfortunately, Dragon is again getting supply. Actually, both players here getting supply blocked. A bit unfortunate, but since both of them get supply blocked at the same time, sort of cancels out. No one's too sad about it. It's like, All right, well, you know, so you get supply blocked, I'll get supply blocked, and we can both be okay. So,
Well,
is
you
this a
know, as
reactor
much as
Hellion
they're
play, or
It
what is this all about?
it
You think?
looks like it. It very well might be some kind of Starport Widowmine drop play. That's what I'm thinking,
Mm.
but we'll find out in a second here. You know, I think the supply block definitely affected Dragon a little bit more though, because desRow found ways to spend his money while Dragon was floating all minerals and no gas. So he
And
had
look at
nothing
this
to spend
harassment in the
money
front here. Managed to take out the first couple of Marines. An excellent timing. Even going to slow down this starport just a tiny bit. And 2 Marines are not enough to take out a mothership core, as I'm sure desRow knows. So he's going to be able to chase these down. However, we are watching for those last 2 Marines coming out of the barracks. He's going to try to chase these 2 down. He's going to pick up a couple more kills, probably teleport out of here. He's making the run for it. When you make the run for it, you definitely avoid spending that energy, but there's not a lot of airspace over here. Oh no, and he's going to go ahead and cast that. Oh, he's not going to be able to get out of there. Really unfortunate misstep there. Loses that. 100 gas, 100 minerals, losing so early in the game. But look at this aggression from desRow. Throwing in 2 more stalkers, getting even more worker kills. He's going to have to dodge this Widow Mine and just barely gets out of there in time. Widow Mine's actually going to readjust there. Almost looked like, hey, get out of my base right now, immediately. Yes. And we have in the north some expansion going down. As a result, another robo play from desRow.
I was impressed with that Stalker surviving there. I was worried that the SCVs would continue their surround, but I was sure that Widowmine would have went off. So great play by desRow by getting out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, look at this aggression. He's even more units coming out, and he hasn't scouted this drop just yet. So his forces are not going to be in position to defend here. Mothership Core just coming out now will not have a photon overcharge.
Be a sloppy game.
Absolutely. He's going to go ahead and kill this Widow Mine defending in the front. Nothing to defend for Fear Dragon, regular Dragon, not Fear Dragon. And the drop coming in the meantime. So this is weird, really early 2 ships passing at night and not seeing each other there. Going to move forward and be able to take out this Stalker potentially. He's going to fire the Widow Mine. Oh, but it almost gets focused down in time. Manages to get it down. In the meantime, we do also have... Oh man, there's battles going on absolutely everywhere right now. These stalkers over here. He's going to potentially move into the main. There is a Widow Mine there. He's going to detect it. Excellently done. In the meantime, desRow has managed to, for the most part, clean up this drop. So it looks like he's got the better of this trade here. Excellently done. He's going to clear out the Widow Mine. He's going to take out all of these. Oh my god, he's just maybe even going for the kill here. He's running out of units to defend. Is Dragon. That Widow Mine in the main gets cleaned up as well. And this is absolutely nuts from desRow. He is just crushing it right now.
Oh, the
4 zealots coming in. Oh, that's exactly
well
what you need at this point in time. It's going to be really difficult to deal with for Dragon. Yeah, a little bit of getting caught there, just a little bit. I'm trying to find hope, is what I'm doing, Rob. What I'm trying to do right now is trying to find hope desperately. Maybe that siege tank is the hero siege tank. It does manage to get 1 stalker. It could get a second, maybe stalker. The micro is happening. You know, I mean, he's got a couple of units here. He's making them count
are good,
as
but...
much as he can. You know, just at the end of this all, 2 base versus 2 base. He's got 3 orbital commands. Oh, and he's focusing down the tank. No repair. Instead, it was an attack from the SCVs, and that's it. desRow
can't pick up siege tanks and Heart of the Swarm.
You cannot. You cannot. Legacy of the Void, however, that would be an easy Terran hold.
The 4 SCV follow-up.
Yeah, you know, like you said, mules are good, and I'm sure that you know, 1 mule is approximately equal to 10,000 SCVs. So as a result, I'm sure you would have been fine. You know, totally fine. No, but in all seriousness, triple orbital command mules is pretty effective.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
So is this another best of 5?
Yes.
It is.
The last match of the evening will be a best of 7.
Best of 7. Cool.
Yes, so Scarlet versus Huck will be a best of 7. That's going to be
Fun.
pretty awesome. Able to
So
cast Scarlet very recently against Peely Peely on the DH9 mod. If you guys are, StarCraft fans, definitely go ahead and check out that double harvesting mod. Definitely, we're in this moment in time in StarCraft where a lot of big changes are happening, and as a community, we can come together and sort of make good things happen for StarCraft. This is a big opportunity for us to do something like that. So go ahead and check out that DH9 mod. In the meantime, also, of course, subscribe to this channel because it is the greatest channel ever to be a channel, as you all well know. By doing so, you will get a G2A $5 gift card, which is, basically paying for your first month of the subscription. So it's kind of like it's like a free subscription. Are you going to buy a video game? Yes, you are. So just go ahead and subscribe and buy a video game. Everything will be great.
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, to go back to Dragon versus desRow, we'll let this loading screen commence.
Let the loading commence. And in. Bottom left-hand corner of our screen, spawning on the map. The Iron Fortress is the red Protoss. He's one game away from victory in this best of 5 on Team Gravity's Fight Night. It's desRow.
In the top left-hand corner, we have in the blue trunks, desRow.
Are to the Agon. Very gangster indeed, as he has been well known to show. And yeah, so Cactus Valley is not the map. Iron Fortress, greatest map ever to be a map, as you all well know. How do you feel about this map in general? Do you think we're going to see some nice long macro game as a 4-spawn map? Ooh, we do have the gas first.
I think drops are quite punishing on this map. How difficult is it to go from the third base to your main base? And look how easy it is for drops to go from the third base to the main base, or the third base to the natural. So
yeah,
I think drops
either third you want to take, they're both going to be difficult in that scenario,
Absolutely. So desRow's gonna, if he tries to go to a third base, I think Dragon's gonna try and pick him apart through drops, but we'll see if he even makes it there. Game 1 was 2 base versus 2 base for pretty much the entirety of the game, and Game 2, 2 base versus 2 base. Game 3 didn't even make it to 2 base. But we'll see what desRow thinks Dragon's gonna respond to, actually, because desRow's been really taking advantage of the robo tech. He's been, particularly the observers, he has been making observers look like #1 superstar unit for Protoss.
Yeah, absolutely. That information being super useful to the intelligent mind, being able to know how to react to that information, obviously the second part of that formula. But having both, really huge, going to help make lots of advantages. We are, again, going for a factory, but this is before even an expansion is up.
Yeah.
What shenaniganry is this?
We're seeing another different build by desRow. He went second gas, and he went second gas game 1, but he did the whole double gas 2 on both. While this, he went 3 on 1, and then took the next one 3 on that. So we're seeing a little variation of a different opener by desRow and Dragon, or and a little bit of Dragon, but with the factory. He tried this last game, and the Widow Mines is what he was really trying to do last game, and drops plus Widow Mines, and I think this map's a great choice to do that on. So we might very well see the same thing out of him, but actually not. 2 Hellions.
2 Hellions, very fast 2 Hellions here. And ooh, hiding some gateways over to the north here. He have all that gas like we were talking about before. He pulled off. Now he has 3 in gas total, 2 in one, 1 in the other. So this might have been a little bit of a trick here. Let's the SCV scout. But ooh, we have a wait a minute.
Oh
What?
my god.
Wait.
4 gate.
What?
Oh my god. I'm ready.
What is going on, man? Are we casting Wings of Liberty? Like what?
desRow's
What is
4
even
game.
happening? Oh, these Hellions are gonna
Oh,
get
no.
right in. Are they gonna go down? Are they gonna scout it? Oh
What's
my
his vision?
god!
He scouts
He does see one. Oh, and that's gonna lead him to see two.
it. Oh my god, this is just too many kills
He's gonna
already.
notice. He's got to be able to notice, right?
It's too
He's
many
gonna
kills.
notice. Oh man,
Oh,
this amount of work kills is absolutely brutal.
8 workers.
I mean, you can't technically support 4 gates for an infinite amount of time on a full mining base. Never mind these losses here. The proxy pylon here is going to be in place. Both these players just like have decided to go one base at the same time. All right, 2 base versus 2 base, 2 base for 2 base, 1 base versus 1 base. Like anyone
Yeah.
trying to get an economic advantage? No, no.
I think it's already a nail in the coffin with a Widow Mine at the top, 1-1-1.
Oh, nice hit to start off there. And another Widow Mine to deal with here as well. It does manage to mitigate some damage by sending in the weaker unit to have to deal with that. Oh, that SCV is getting targeted down, but not in time. This bunker is going to finish up, and oh my god. This is a brutal situation. GG, Dragon! Gonna tie the series up 2-2.
Going to game 5.
Defense of a 4 gate and in Heart of the Swarm. That's some special stuff. You don't get to see that every night.
Yeah, I was really hoping to see that, pan out for desRow, or at least scare Dragon, but that 2 Hellion run by came at the perfect moment. I wonder if a single Stalker can hold that ramp. Do you know that?
You mean hold that ramp as in block the Hellions?
Right, kind of like what a queen can do. A single queen
Yeah.
in the center.
No, the Stalker is not big enough to do that.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I mean, or it's like crazy that a queen can do it, right? Am I right? Is that kind of insane?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Queen's pretty fat. She's allowed to hold it. Hold the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice little cool tricks here and there that we find. Very, very, very delicate falling in situations. You gotta get that placement just right to make that work. And game 5, in Cactus Valley here. We do have that small choke, and it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what happens here. We of course have on Cactus Valley spawning in the top left of this map, it's desRow.
In the top right-hand corner, Cactus Valley, Dragon.
All right, so we've seen it all. We've seen 4 gates, we've seen 2 bases, we've seen lots of units of Dragon overwhelming, and we've seen all kinds of fancy shenanigans. But you know what we haven't seen yet? This weird thing that it's called the late game. And for those of you who are watching your very first series of StarCraft now, there's 3 kinds of games in StarCraft. There's the early game, and which you just saw, and the mid game, which is, you saw a little bit of that too, but the late game is something that we haven't seen yet. And that might be because desRow's got his own show, and he doesn't want to go into the late game, and that's that's kind of what he's going for. But in any case, we do have a lot of aggression from both these players for all of these games, and I'm wondering if finally here, when it really matters, when it finally counts, and it's just the one game to rule them all, do we see the late game? Only time will tell.
Unfortunately, I don't think a late game's feasible in Protoss vs Terran on this map. If desRow goes for it, I'm scared for him. Not enough people got to watch the SE2 Team League, but it's one of the European team leagues that has just incredible competition in it. MYI, Root Gaming, just some of the best teams in that league. And I was watching MY Rain versus Kel'Thuzar on this map, and Kel'Thuzar proved to me that Terran can just be so punishing while at the same time expanding with planetary to the 4th base and just keeping the Protoss contained on 3 base for an endless amount of time. And it would, I don't know, if desRow can macro against Dragon on this map, he'd blow me away, because after seeing get Rain loose to Kel'Thuzar and it wasn't even really that close. You know, every time there was engagement, Rain's micro was just immaculate and impressive. But the amount of economy that Kel'Thuzar was ahead on, it just didn't matter how poorly, you know, it was microed compared to Rain's micro. So, you know, I think this map is definitely Terran favored over Protoss on this matchup.
Yeah, and you know, Rain specifically has been known and always has been this very careful, intelligent decision making, safe play. You know, playing very reactionary style Protoss, which especially when he started really breaking out was super rare for a Protoss to be a reaction based player. But you know, it is you know it's if he can't do it, then people got to figure out how to do it, or you know, or it can't be done. I always tend towards the it hasn't been figured out just yet kind of mindset, but you know, there are always those ultimate situations that you have to keep in mind. We are going fast factory for this final game, so no triple racks anymore. And I think he's actually completely avoided triple racks after that 2-base line from desRow. I think he's just decided that after he lost against that all-in, he's just not going to be going for it.
Yeah, so he's just preparing once again with the Marines to make sure he has enough for any kind of Oracle, or as we see, Mothership Core harass. You know, we're seeing another Robo out of as desRow. It's been working out real well for him these games, so it would surprise me if he didn't.
Yeah, and it probably would surprise Dragon as well if he didn't. So maybe a little bit of opportunity lost there, but he's going with what he's strong in, and that many times is the best way toward victory. desRow opening up with this stable style, very, very safe and careful. It's going to be able to get the scouting information, react appropriately. There is an SCV over on the right side of the map. Don't really know what that's for. Maybe just a delayed scout to keep tabs on that 3rd base. Very, very important, again, is going to be these potential 3rd bases coming out of either player. When they go down, they're going to be opening up that vulnerability. But before that, we are going to see a Widowmine drop, looks like. But there's a lot of Marines here, so we have a potential for like a Widowmine drop with a little push in the front as well.
Yeah, I think he just wants to be able to finally be able to do that style. You know, he's tried the past couple games, and it's either been a 4-gate by desRow or a sloppy, miss each other kind of scrappy game that we saw in game 3.
Yeah, and he's taking a ninja base over on the left side of the map while this drop is coming in. How cool is that? This is some Dragon play right here. And in the meantime, we do have the drop coming through. The Widowmine is going to go quite quickly, but going to get that 1 kill, and that is all. Not too much damage, but it is slightly distracting. Second Widowmine might be able to do a little bit better, perhaps get a Stalker, but no, not too much at all. Only a couple of workers coming down as a whole, but we do have that ninja base from Dragon.
It's a great hold, and you know, it seems like you didn't get any damage done whatsoever, but if you think about it, you know, if you looked on the resources or the income tab, you know, desRow dropped down to about 400 minerals per minute for a solid 20-30 seconds there, and that's an indirect damage of a few hundred. Oh my goodness, that Widowmine just got 6 kills, guys.
Oh my god, and in the meantime, we have more excitement on the left side of the map as desRow somehow has scouted the ninja base. Oh my god. He was going over to scout lots of different locations, and desRow knows now of this ninja base and is going to dispatch a small squadron of stalkers to take it out.
And the greatest thing for desRow is Dragon didn't see that, so he threw down a mule, and that's he might lose the orbital, the CC, and force that mule. So
Yeah, and
see
he
how
only
much that
was
hurts.
managed to get 30 minerals out of it, so that's you know, anywhere between 270 and 240 minerals lost just for that. He's actually going to let the orbital command miss. He's going to drop out the energy. He indeed does. So it is a good trade. He's going to keep building workers, probably just because it's on the same control group. Nothing to worry about there. But yeah, unfortunate he wasn't able to
Supply
make that.
blocks, too, because of
Yeah, he wasn't able to make that ninja base work. It always is exciting when the ninja bases go down. But you know, desRow says, okay, how can I lose this game right now? You know, potentially a ninja base. I'm gonna cross on my T's, dot on my I's, make sure that everything is accounted for, and he scouted all over the map, making sure
Yeah.
there's no sort of shenanigans going on from Dragon rather.
You know, I was pretty surprised by the placement of that, because if he put it a little bit further south, I feel like yes, desRow's scouting was immaculate and it would have still been scouted. And I'm also surprised that he built an orbital. If it was further south and he made a planetary, you have to send a considerable amount of army down there to kill that thing. And if desRow sends an army down there to go kill the planetary, that's when Dragon could just go straight for the throat. And desRow could lose everything while he's just trying to go kill a single little planetary down there with, you know, 5 SCVs and a couple mules. And so I see the power and the strength of that proxy, you know, command center, but I don't know what his thought process behind the orbital. I guess it was just greed.
Well, you know, the interesting thing here is that we still don't have an engineering bay for Dragon throughout all this time. 1-1 already, you know, about a third of the way through for desRow, and just no upgrades at all coming out from Dragon here.
You know, from it's a good point, and I think what Dragon's thinking here is, you know, when I'm behind like this, something's
Ooh,
gotta
we got a
give.
lot of harassment going on here. Gets a couple of workers, pulls back the entire army, forces a huge stim. What an incredible buying of time. I really think Dragon was about to move out there. He was on his way out to the map, and desRow looks like he's going to meet him out halfway. He's got a couple of sentries here. A lot of them have high energy. If he can engage in the right area, these force fields will be big. This sort of intersection over here with the Observer is quite good for that engagement, and it looks like he's going to move there in time. Should be able to section off some of these forces. Let's see
I
how
hope
he's gonna do it.
desRow kind of waits until his 1-1 finishes. Of course, this is a great pickoff.
Oh, a lot of those forces getting pretty close, but the Colossus taking no damage at all and splitting up the forces of your enemy, and especially no Vikings in that engagement at all. Nice pickup from desRow. Well done.
Yeah, when this 1-1 finishes, he's gonna have to have a stellar positioning of his Vikings. Otherwise, this will be trouble. If he has a single Guardian Shield, actually he might not. But with upgrades plus Guardian Shield, Marines just, you know, poke little poking towards those zealots when they have armor and Guardian Shield. But yeah, I can totally understand Dragon's mentality right now that, you know, after you lose that third CC, if I'm gonna expect to have a good army, something's got to give, and he decided
He's just got to be going all in at this point. No upgrades, no third base anywhere to be seen. He's just making this his push to win or else. I really don't see any other way around it. He does have a very strong army supply right now. He does have enough Vikings to deal with these 3 Colossus. Anywhere between 3 or 4 per Colossus is the preferred area. Ooh, he could snipe this Warp Prism while it's warping in, but he doesn't manage to pull it off. A little bit of an opportunity.
Once again, you know, desRow's Observer.
Oh, wow,
placement.
what target firing. All of the
Wow.
Oh, that is so huge. This stim is going to be so much more punishing for Dragon now. Oh,
Yeah.
man. That was such an important pickoff.
He's trying to bait a stim.
All right, there's the engagement. He's keeping his Marines back and his Marauders up in front to tank, but I just don't know if this is going to be enough.
Yeah, Vikings down. He might get that last Colossus.
Oh, this is a really nice choke point. Those 2 force fields, perfect. Exactly what he needs in this scenario, and Dragon gets cleaned up here in a major way. GG, desRow wins the series 3-2.
Yeah, it was a great play. I mean, even at the end, sniping those 4 medevacs, you know, we were talking about it earlier, the power of those observers and intel. He had an observer following that army. He knew he was chasing him up that ramp. He knew where his army was, so he sends the stalkers down there, says hey, and the hay turned into 4 dead medevacs.
Yep. That was huge. And even then, right? So two strikes right in a row. First was the scouting of that base and taking it out quite quickly, and then second of all, making that move there with the with that positioning with the force fields to shave up some units, engage without the Vikings, and then the final blow, just taking out those medevacs. It was at that point in time, it was still a difficult attack to make for Dragon, and those medevacs loss just made it impossible.
Absolutely. So, on to the next Scarlet versus Huck. Yes.
Right,
I'm
the
so
main
excited.
event. The main event. Now, you told me that you've been a big fan of Scarlett's ZVP. You know, talk a little bit about that with all of us, all the viewers out there. Like, what is it that you really like about her ZVP at the current moment?
So, what Scarlet does so great in her ZVP is she's on point with her builds, of course, and her macro, but she knows what her strengths are. Unlike many other Zergs, she sees what her opponent's building, and if the opponent's going Stargate Phoenix style, she has a different play style to play against that. If their opponent's doing, a Blink Stalker, she knows how she maneuvers, and a lot of times I feel like in Zerg versus Protoss, people kind of feel pigeonholed a lot of times. You have your you have your Zergs who always go Roach Hydra, or you have your Zergs who always go Muta, or you have those Zergs who only feel like they can beat a certain army with this other army composition, while Scarlet truly shows that she can mix up compositions, Ling and Fester, or the Roach Hydra, or the Muta, or a tech switch Muta after Ling and Fester, or a tech switch to Ultralisk after Ling and Fester, and it really leaves a lot of potential switches open to her that many other Zergs don't feel like are possible. While she gets it done, she makes it deceiving, and she just it's her Zerg versus Protoss. She always has a response, and she knows what she's doing after she sees whatever she sees. And I try to emulate that. I try to learn. Her styles with like the Ling and Fester recently. If you guys watched the WCS qualifiers, she was able to beat some notable Protosses with the Ling and Fester style that they opened up Stargate, and that's actually one of my biggest issues when I play against Protoss. We just watched desRow play, and desRow is a really good player when it comes to a Phoenix style, and Zerg versus Protoss. And when a player goes Phoenixes, it's tough to know what to exactly go, because if you go Roach Hydra, they go Colossus, then you got to get Vipers. But if you pick up Vipers, then if they're smart and they pick up on that, they'll have Templars and feedbacks in time, and then they get Storm, and they have Storm. Now your Roach Hydra kind of gets completely wrecked. And while Scarlet she picks up on the Stargate, knows that she can go Ling and Fester, expands all across the map, spreads crazy amounts of creep because she gets like 8 to 10 queens, and it's I love the style. I love to watch it
Oh
too.
yeah,
So.
that Scarlet creep spread, everybody loves it. I love it. You love it. Even Terran's like, oh, Scarlet, you and your creep spread. But we're gonna throw it to a quick break, couple of minutes, and we'll start up our main event, the best of 7 between the Canadian Titans, Acer Scarlet, and EG Huck. Stick around.